Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Good to have you on with us and hope you're having a great start to your day. I hope you're having a cup of good for me coffee because I am Brahim, numero uno, Mike from Norland. How are you guys? And let's see, Andrea, Niagara Falls, good morning. And Lori Lee, Ventura, California. Manette, how you doing? And Micheline, bonjour. Mary from Norwich. Fran from Orangeville, good morning. Sandra, Aurelia. And Kedachu, how are you? Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Cheryl from West Virginia. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Wendy from Markham. Ron from Northern Idaho. Must be cold. Donna, Park Hill. Barbara from Kansas. And Sonia, Aylmer. And Rita, Wasaga Beach. And Vera from Newfoundland. Wanda, Ridgeway, good morning. And Dale, how you doing? Keith, good morning, Bell River. And Julie, Bowmanville. Danny, he loves his coffee. Me too. Nancy, Iowa, good morning. And Sue, how is you? And Norma from Texas. Veronica, I think it's cold everywhere. And Sandy, Kathy, New Zealand. Good morning. Or I don't know, what time of the day is it? Joni, Madalena, Laval, Robin, Connecticut, Jeanette, and I don't know how to, from Bangladesh, Mahabuba, I didn't see, Bev, how are you? Manik, right from Bangladesh, isn't that nice? Christine, Niagara Falls, Sue, Bolton, and Kathy, looking forward to tonight's live. Me too. Janice, Brampton. Cecilia, good morning. And Daphne, Deer Lake, Snowy. Francis Marie. And Margie from Kansas. Couple of more. Diane, how are you? Jill, Mono, Ontario. David, Nettle Islands, Florida. Anna, Hamner. And Maria. And two more. Yolande, I was waiting on you. Good morning, Nellie. How are you? And Laurie from Niagara Falls. Okay, guys, couple of studies came out. I want to talk about them today. One of them is, guys, this, again, you know, when I see stuff like this, it blows me away, okay? So, you know, when I say sort of like blow your socks off day, this is another one. Came out, a new study on blood viscosity, okay? Now, what is blood viscosity? The thickness of blood. I used to tell patients all the time, they'd come into the office, I'd look at their blood and I'd say, you got blood like molasses. Thick. And not good. You got 60,000 miles of blood vessels, 1.5 times around the equator, and you want that blood moving. The life of the flesh is in the blood. And you got the river of life there, my friend. And the river's got to be moving. So I used to turn to patients, okay? And I'd say, you see your blood there? You're going to have a heart attack. Your blood is so thick. And they had no idea. Isn't thick blood a good thing? You don't want it too thin either, right? Because then you can't clot. You know, people that are on blood thinners or whatever, there's always some dangerous side effects to that. But the idea is just with water, and this is why I know for a fact that drinking 2 liters of water a day will fix thick blood. Okay? And I talked about that a lot in my practice. I called it vitamin W. You need water for your viscosity. Okay? Now, new study comes out and it says, if you have metabolic syndrome, okay, if you're in that 93% metabolic syndrome, you're in deep doo-doo for a lot of reasons, because metabolic syndrome is characterized by, you know me, high triglycerides and low cholesterol, low HDL. You want to show me blood? I'll tell you. If you got high triglycerides and low HDL, you're in big doo-doo. Elevated blood pressure. Still normal, but elevated blood sugar. And I like looking at A1C around anything above 5.4 A1C. You're in doo-doo. You got metabolic syndrome. And that is characterized by insulin resistance. And guys, over and over and over again, we talk about this because insulin resistance is at the root of metabolic syndrome. And, okay, so insulin resistance is at the root of metabolic syndrome. Got that? It's insulin. Primarily food. 2, you get metabolic syndrome. You're on the Titanic. If you have metabolic syndrome, you're on the Titanic. And 3, metabolic syndrome is at the root cause of heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, fatty liver, kidney disease, autoimmune, yada, yada, yada. Okay? That's the Martin Clinic. That's what I specialized in for years and years, metabolic syndrome. I'd look for it, and I showed people how to fix that, how to get off the Titanic or turn the ship around, okay? Now, got to tell you about this study. This study is saying that when you have metabolic syndrome, you have insulin resistance. Your cells are sick and tired of seeing insulin all the time because my name is Tony and I'm a carboholic. So you don't get insulin resistance for nothing. You get insulin resistance when you insist on eating the wrong food. When people insist that carbs are essential and they live on them, and bread, pasta, rice, cereal, sugar, sweets, pastries, juice, milk, soda, and whatever, you develop insulin resistance. You get metabolic syndrome. You are in deep trouble. But this is showing, and I mean it, I never knew this. One of the reasons that people get thick blood like molasses is not only because they're dehydrated, but is because they suffer with insulin resistance. New study, insulin resistance causes your blood to be thicker. Well, no wonder your blood pressure goes up. No wonder it's so dangerous. Here's another factor. Here's another thing that happens inside the body. Not only are your triglycerides higher, 3 fat balls, Your cholesterol is lower, your HDL, which I really measure. It's very important to look at HDL. And it's usually, in metabolic syndrome, it's usually low. There's not enough FedEx trucks on the highways and byways of your blood vessels to attach themselves to those triglycerides and bring them back to your liver for processing. If you have fatty liver, you get fatty liver not from eating fat. And I know every day, we try and undo that lie. Because today in the world, people are still believing that fat makes you fat and fat is fatty liver. No, it's sugar. It's carbs. Especially high fructose corn syrup. But isn't that interesting? That your blood thickens up. Your blood becomes like molasses because of insulin resistance. Is there anything that insulin resistance doesn't affect? My word. It's incredible. So all I'm saying, guys, is this is a very, very, very important study. I'm going to add it to my list of the bad things that happen. Blood pressure goes up. Okay? Blood pressure goes up. And, you know, look, if you got high blood pressure, that's a dangerous thing. I never liked high blood pressure. Okay? Now, what you do about it is another thing. I love going to the root cause. So if you're on high blood pressure medication, okay. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that's a Band-Aid. That's not, it's helping you. I get it. Many side effects, but it's not the root cause. The root cause comes from something else. And usually it's at the kidney level. Sugar is so toxic inside your bloodstream. Your kidneys are affected. The kidneys hold on to dear life, to fluid. Your blood pressure goes up. And it's amazing how many people, thousands of people over the years, when they get on a very low carb diet, when they do the reset, their blood pressure gets better. Amazing. Well, I said, now you're getting at the root cause. Okay? But that's significant, guys. I had to bring this to you today. How insulin resistance actually affects the thickness of your blood. So, and by the way, it makes sense, okay? Because what happens, okay? What happens? Your body dehydrates in the presence of sugar. I'll tell you why, okay? Because your body is smarter than the average bear. Your body is so smart, okay? It's so smart. It knows sugar is toxic, so it tries to dilute it. And it will draw water from everywhere to try and make that blood flow. Because sugar is so toxic, so it tries to dilute the sugar. Insulin, of course, tries to take sugar out of your bloodstream and store it. But what if you have insulin resistance? You become dehydrated. Your body tries to pull water in to dilute your blood. Your blood thickens up. That's why, one of the keys is to obviously drink water. And people, look, only water is water, guys. You ain't going to make the river flow if you're drinking juice. Oh, Dr. Martin, I don't like water. Suck it up, Buttercup. You need water. Okay? You need water. Suck it up. Oh, I don't like it. Yeah, but it likes you. Get it into your life and form a habit. Get it into the, like, you know, I used to see patients in the office, especially in the summertime or whatever. They were wearing sandals and all their heels were cracked. Their feet and elbows cracked. Dry. And I used to tell them, it's not only because you're dehydrated, it's your body trying to pull that water even out of your skin. You're like planet Earth, guys. What? 75% of planet Earth is water? But when you see that, I say, well, you're dehydrated. Plus, your sugar is elevated. Your blood sugar is elevated. Now, it might not be enough to be a diabetic, but your body does everything it can. Your body would rather be dead almost than you allow you to become a diabetic. Tony Jr. and I will talk about that tonight. Your body is so stinking smart. It will do anything to keep you away from diabetes. Anything. It would rather you have fatty liver than have diabetes. It would rather you have anything. That's how toxic sugar is, my friend. That's how toxic sugar is. It's incredible. Your body knows that, and yet the world out there doesn't know that. The nutritional field is still stuck 100 years ago. They're stuck in the past. Oh, sugar in moderation. And it's because people don't drop dead right in front of them when they eat sugar that they, moderation. No, there's no such thing as moderation when it comes to sugar. Your body says, look, if you emptied out your blood, you got 5 liters, empty it. Eat 20 donuts. Eat 20 donuts. Don't do it, but just pretend. I just had 20 donuts. Wait an hour, empty your blood, and you know what you'll find? A teaspoon of sugar at the most. See, your body just cannot allow you to have high blood sugar. Can you imagine how bad diabetes is? Your body says, I don't want diabetes. I'd rather have anything else but diabetes. So diabetes is the last thing that happens. Because your body is so smart. No, sugar's toxic. It affects every area of your body, my friend. Every area of your body. It's incredible. Okay. Now, I just had to get this off my chest. No, but I read this study yesterday. And it blew me away. It blew me away. Okay? So let me just continue. I got a couple of others. Okay. A new study on probiotics. A new study on probiotics. I mean it, guys, almost every day. Almost every day. Almost 365 days a year. I get a study on probiotics and I get a study on vitamin D. There's a lot of research going on, guys. You just don't hear about it as much because it's not pharmaceutical. Okay? It's not pharmaceutical. But let me say this. A probiotic, broad spectrum. Okay? What's broad spectrum mean? It has at least 10 different strains. And guys, I talk about this all the time, the importance of that. Okay? Because, you eat a yogurt and you get a little bit of bacteria. You don't get much. I'll tell you why. Because the second, and anything that's in the grocery store and is passed off as a probiotic is nonsense. Because in order to sell in Canada or the United States, they must pasteurize it. Louis Pasteurize it. Why do they do that? To kill bacteria. Does it work? You bet your boots it works. Okay? It's one of the reasons that milk in the grocery store, okay, it's been heated up to 1,200 degrees. And it ain't going to change anytime soon. For the same reason I talked about the virus, and everything was about the virus, and it was far from scientific. They made up stuff. Wear a mask. Stand 6 feet apart. Don't go outside. At start, that's what they said. They closed the beaches in Florida. I pretty near lost my mind. The very thing that they should have done, they did the opposite. Anywho, okay? Anywho, when it comes to, like even dairy, what do? They kill the bacteria. Why do they do it? Because, they don't want salmonella or they don't want anything like that. So 1,200 degrees and it's pasteurized. Because to them, the bug is everything. Okay? So unless you have a cow in the backyard, I don't even like milk. Okay? I like, here's what I like. I like breast milk. Okay? Baby breast milk. Okay? There ain't no formula like breast milk. But when baby is done with breast milk, start weaning them on water. They don't need milk anymore. They need solids. You can give them cheese. Okay? You can still give them dairy. But it's the pasteurization. So, okay, back to my story. You don't get probiotics, I'm sorry, okay, in yogurt. You just don't. There's not enough there for a mouse, okay? But here's the study. Back to the study. New study out of the Nutritional Journal on probiotics and COVID. Okay, here's the study. New study on probiotics and COVID-19. Best results of, here's what they said, shorten the duration of the virus and better immune response of the virus. Probiotics, broad spectrum. Well, you guys knew that, didn't you? Why do I love probiotics so much? Why, for the last 40 years, have I been talking about bacteria? Good, bad, and ugly. Right? Good, bad, and ugly. And the good guys are on your side. And that's what probiotics are. They're the good guys. And when they do a multi-strain, okay, probiotic, they found that the virus, even a virus, doesn't have a chance with probiotic. Shorten the duration, increase the immune response. Now imagine if they would do a study, and maybe they will, take vitamin D at high doses, okay, therapeutically. Well, they've shown already on vitamin D. But imagine doing vitamin D and probiotics. it would be part of my little cocktail that I would recommend for anyone getting the flu of any kind. Or, as we talked about yesterday, catching a cold. I caught it. Okay. It's not really how it works. Okay. It's the difference between the soil, right? The soil and the plant. I'm more interested in the soil, right? And again, it went back years and years and years, between in medicine, two Frenchmen, Antoine, that's my French name, and don't call me that, I don't like it. Antoine Béchamp and Louis Pasteur, okay? Big fight. And Louis Pasteur won. And medicine took that direction. They went, it's the bug, it's the bug, it's the bacteria, it's the virus, it's that. That's the king of the castle. What Antoine Béchamp said, it's more, your immune system is more important. Let's fight the bug by building the immune system, the soil. Make the soil, make your body a lean, mean, fighting machine. Okay? Build your immune system up. That's why I'm with Antoine. I'm on Antoine's side, even if he lost. Okay? Now, Louis Pasteur, they did some wonderful things. Okay? Yeah, look. Give credit where credit is due. Right? And, but guys, you're always going to hear me preaching on you take care of yourself. Get your body in its immune responding state. And probiotics, they've proven it. In the most recent nutritional journal, a new study on probiotics and COVID-19. Did they tell us that? No. Vitamin D, incredible. How it kept, if people had a certain level of vitamin D, it kept them out of the hospital. Incredible, but there's no money in it. Anywho, I get excited, guys. I get excited. Okay? Okay. Now, tomorrow, now you know what tonight is, right? If you haven't signed up, I'm not sure if you can still sign up for the webinar live on Zoom. I don't know anything about it. Tony Jr. and I are in it together. Okay? So if you're not on Zoom or you haven't set up, or you haven't signed up, for the webinar tonight, do so. We'd love to have you on with us. Okay? And we will record it. We will record it. Just some people can't make it. But we have, I'm telling you, Tony Jr. told me the numbers. Incredible. Okay? Incredible. How many people have signed up? Thank you for that. And we're looking forward to that. Tomorrow will be an afternoon session. Okay? Now, I've been sort of threatening that. But I'm announcing it now. I drive my staff crazy, I really do. But I kind of enjoy it. Okay, guys, have I told you lately that I love you? I haven't, eh? Okay, well, I mean it. We love you dearly. We'll talk to you soon.